Survivor Season 41, Episode 11 recap coming your way. Let's do this thing! We just are fresh off a Shan blindside, and what's gonna happen next? Liana comes back and is peeved off for what Danny and Deshawn did. She was the only one left out of the vote, and she wants an explanation. And Deshawn and Danny try and assure her that we're still with you. Us three are going to roll in tight. And I'm not voting for you. We're not voting for you. We need to get out Ricard next. Meanwhile, Xander, Ricard, Erica, and Heather seem to have the majority all of a sudden. And things are going to get a bit spicy. So we go over to immunity. Before we talk about immunity, it was nice that they showed a personal moment with Danny talking about his father who passed away 25 years ago or however long it was. It was a nice tribute, especially going into immunity, to give Danny a moment to shine. They really haven't shown much personal content from him, so it was nice to see that. Danny's turning out to be a pretty solid player. Before the season started, I just wrote him off because all pro athletes in this game do terribly. No one even really makes the merge. So the fact that he's made it to the top 7 is a real testament to the game that he's playing. So we get to the tribal council, and it's that classic game where you have the stick with a bunch of blocks in the middle. There's a little marble on top, and if you drop it, then you're out, you're eliminated. And Jeffrey, he has to add another twist into the game. Final 7. And I was dreading this. I was like, oh God, what could this possibly be? Do or die is the name of the twist. And it's a purge. It is a purge. A purge. What is a purge? Well, for those of you who watched The Challenge, which is a great show, by the way. The Challenge, from time to time, they do purge challenges where the person who takes last place in the challenge is just gone, eliminated from the game. And I've posed this question in Survivor. Should Survivor have purge challenges where there is no vote? It's purely competition based. And I've gone back and forth. I'd love to get your feedback, your opinion. Should there be a purge-like challenge where it's really about outplay? I mean, part of the 3 tenets of the game: outwit, outplay, outlast. Outplay, you have to compete. You should be rewarded for competing well. You can't win if you're not competing well by those 3 merits. Should purge challenges exist? You don't have to win, you just have to be better than one person. And that was the kind of twist that this episode was going on. It wasn't that extreme. They gave the loser at least some possibility of staying in. So Jeffrey, he says, okay, you can either play in this immunity challenge, but if you're the first one eliminated, you play Do or Die. And Do or Die is a separate game in which if you lose, you're gone without a vote. You're purged from the game. But if you win the Do or Die game, you get immunity. So if you lose the challenge, then you have to play another game by yourself. And if you win, you get immunity. But if you lose, you're purged from the game. Okay, hear us out. Let me know what the game is, and then we'll respond. If you sit out from the challenge, then you don't have any chance at immunity, but you don't have to play the Do or Die. So Liana and Heather, they sit out, and within 2 seconds, Deshawn is eliminated from the game. He's got to play Do or Die, and Danny wins immunity. Good for Danny, because especially after that tribute, I know he was channeling his father who passed away in that challenge. He wanted to make him proud, and he did, and he showed all of America by doing that. So proud of Danny for winning that one. Now, This is where things get interesting. The do or die. Deshaun, he's still in it. He's not purged yet. He just has the potential to be purged from the game. So he still has to strategize because he could potentially be immune or he's just out. So he has to have a backup plan on who he's going to vote out. And they're thinking Ricard. He's done. That's it. But Xander and Erica, they're kind of in the swing. Xander is like, I don't want Ricard because he's a buffer. If Ricard goes, then I'm next. And I'm thinking to myself, well, Xander, there's only 7. If Ricard's gone, that's 6. You have a hidden immunity idol, that's 5. All you have to do is last one tribal or win immunity and you're into the final 4 fire making. So that's a big gamble to keep Ricard around when he's a sitting duck at this point. So he doesn't want to vote Ricard. The true swing vote in this scenario is Erica. And Erica has to make the big move. Is she going to get out Leanna, who she might not be someone that you can work with. You don't have a relationship with her. You're not burning any bridges there by getting her out. But also you're not padding a resume. She's not a threat to win at all. She's an easy person to bring to the final 3. So do you get out the number 1 person poised to win the game in Ricard when you have the opportunity? That's the dilemma. All right, so we get to Tribal Council, and before we can even get to the do or die game, there was a big discussion on the black culture and how it has such an impact on this game and to society. And I'll admit it, I'm not really one for talking about these types of things in Survivor. Usually I watch Survivor just because I like the game. But the more I think about it, I mean, this is a social experiment. And it is interesting to see how men and women of different races, religions, whatever, interact. And to just dismiss that any of that doesn't have an impact on the strategy, on the votes in this game is just being naive. I mean, we saw it earlier in this season, how, Evie wanted to get a women alliance going, how we had the Black Alliance. These are prevalent things in society, and it makes sense to bring it into the game. I know some people may not feel the same way, but I think Leanna really worded it nicely. I want to go back and rewatch how Leanna addressed it. She's just basically saying like, hey, this is the world we live in. This is what we deal with on a day-to-day basis. For those of you who don't like seeing it on national TV, I respect that, but it's important conversation to have. And I think she really spoke well in that moment. So I was glad that they brought that up in Tribal Council before we had to endure a stupid twist that could potentially just throw this entire season into utter chaos. So after the long tribal discussion, Deshaun's ready to play do or die. And it's the Monty Hall problem. For those of you who don't know the Monty Hall problem, just Google it. Okay, so Deshaun, he is going to upset all the game theorists out there and mathematicians of the world. He decides to stick with his gut and stay with box number 1, and huzzah, he's safe. Thank God. Like, that's just the lamest way to go out on a game of chance. Why? I think here's what because again, I'm interested in a Survivor Purge challenge, but at least like make it somewhat skill based. Like if it was a fire making thing or like an actual game and he actually had to like solve a puzzle in a certain time frame or something skill based, why luck? Like, I don't know. Luck? That's just so lame. What I think they should have done is the first person to get eliminated loses their vote, right? I mean, that's better than them just having a chance to get eliminated outright. I don't know. I don't really like it altogether. Especially this far into the game, final 7, you're gonna throw a whammo like that on them? I don't really like it. Let's toolbox it, Jeff, for maybe 20 seasons from now, and then when we get to there, just scrap it because the fan base isn't gonna like this one. So we get to the vote, and it's split: 3 Ricard, 3 Liana, 1 vote left. But wait, there's not one vote left because Jeff reads the 7th vote, and it's Liana, which meant Xander played his extra vote. And I was like, what? You played your extra vote on Liana? And then the last vote was revealed, and Liana ended up going home. And I don't get this move. It ultimately was Erica's decision. Xander uses his extra vote to solidify that Liana would be the one going. Let's say Erica flopped. It would have been 4-4. And then on the revote, I feel like Xander, his extra vote would have carried through to the revote. So I think, I didn't do the math, but I think Liana would have still ended up going home. But why use your extra vote on Liana? Like, she's not a threat to win the game. She's an easy one to take to the final 3. I think his philosophy that Ricard was a buffer and he didn't want him to go yet. He wants him to go next time, but you're running out of time, buddy. Like, if he doesn't go out next time, then and he finds his way to the final 3, then you're in trouble, Xander, because you haven't done anything. And Erica, that was your move. That was your big opportunity to do the move. And I get that they didn't want to risk it going 3-3, because if Erica and Xander vote out Ricard, then it's Erica, Xander, and Heather versus Danny, Deshawn, and Liana. Those are the final 6. It's 3-3. It's kind of a toss-up. Someone's got to flip at some point to get the majority. So I guess the rationale is that, all right, let's get out Ricard next so that we can maintain that 3, Xander, Erica, Heather, to get out Danny and Deshawn, who would be the remaining 2. I guess that's the rationale. I don't really like it. I probably would have got Ricard out because the dude's a beast. He's been winning all the immunity challenges. He took 2nd in this one. So I get it, I guess, to some extent, but I don't know. And we can say RIP to the shot in the dark. Interesting concept. I think taking away a vote to use it was just too harsh. At least they should have made the odds better. Maybe if it was a 1 in 3 chance that you're safe. They need to toolbox that one a little bit too. Only Sydney was the only person who played it, and it was a non-factor. Didn't seem like strategy talks even revolved around shot in the dark at all. So I don't know. We'll probably see it in season 42 because they film back to back, and obviously they don't have the fan feedback. Like, season 42 is already filmed. They can't change stuff already. So there's going to be some stupid twists in season 42, I'm sure, that just didn't work this time around. I'm hoping they prove me wrong, but I doubt it. All right, power rankings to close this out. Well, Ricard's still in it, and I'm going to save my opinion from last week. If he is in the final 3, he's going to win. I think Erica deserves to be in the final, the top 3. And I got to give Danny some props. Got to give Danny some love. He had a really great episode, but it's just him and Deshawn now. And I said that about Ricard, him being the number 1 public enemy last week, but you say that and anything can happen. I mean, all you need to do is have one person switch the other way, and hey, you're in the majority again. All you need to do is win immunity, and boom. It seems like they're adding an idol, which must have been added since Shan. Typically they add an idol after an idol has been removed from the game. So Shan idol was washed and Nasir's idol was washed. So theoretically, there could be 2 idols out there if they were playing by former season rules. I doubt that. They did hide something, so it does seem like there's an idol that's going to be thrown in final 6, and there's only really going to be 1 tribal left to use it. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting stuff, guys. Let's see what happens next week. Only 2 weeks left till the finale. I can't wait to see what happens. Hopefully these twists can just stay out of the game from being played. It was fun to see that Deshaun outplayed the Monty Hall problem, but he shouldn't even had to face it in the first place. So let's see what happens next time, guys. Until then, I'll see ya.